planning my month ahead of time is one of the most important things I can do as a graphic design business owner. So in today's video, I'm going to share with you guys how I plan everything. So when I say everything, I literally mean my social media content, my clients, my personal life, collaborations, podcasting, all the things. I like to plan it out ahead of time and at least actually plan the ideas behind everything so that I mentally know exactly what it is to expect every week. So I wanted to share with you guys this in today's video. I just got back from vacation last night, so I'm kind of just getting into the swing of things and I'm a little bit behind. It's September 5th. It's already like the first week of September is already almost over. So we got to get to planning and get ahead so that I feel a little bit less stressed this month and a little more relaxed. So I hope you guys enjoy today's video. But let's get right into it. One of the reasons I'm able to stay so productive are because of these mental performance shots that I take in the morning. It is called Magic Mind and they're full of so many vitamins and they're long-lasting energy with matcha. I love these and I definitely recommend trying them out. Oh, let's plan the month of September. Okay, so let's talk about Instagram. Instagram is, I would say, one of the more popular platforms we all use as graphic designers because it is where I land, I would say 70% of my clients, and I would say 90% of my clients are actually from TikTok, which is really interesting. So I'm still up in the air on which one that I'd recommend you start if you're brand new. I would recommend starting with all of them and seeing which one that you are most excited about, most drawn to, and maybe the one that's getting the most increase coming through, because TikTok has brought in so many new clients for me and it's really allowed me to connect with so many people. And I think that's partly because of the algorithm on there. I feel like content lasts a lot longer on TikTok, whereas on Instagram, you post something and next week it might not be seen anymore. So I do feel TikTok's a great platform to be on. However, I have just been repurposing everything. So I've kind of slacked off on TikTok and that's one of my goals for the month of September. I'm going to put a big writing right here. Post on TikTok more often, at least 3 times a week. And I know that that's not as much as would probably do the best on TikTok because I've noticed with TikTok posting multiple times a day, every single day is the best way to get like seen and grow on TikTok really fast. But I'm being realistic with myself. 3 times a week on TikTok is doable because I not only have that, I have Instagram, YouTube Shorts, and Pinterest, and YouTube videos, and all the things. So anyway, I wanted to share that with you guys because I know I get questions on like what social media platform, and I also get the question on, do I start a personal Instagram account or a business account? Like, do you keep them separate? I don't like to have so many things to manage, so I just made my personal account my business account, and I like to share bits and pieces of my personal life and my business. I think it's the best way to connect with people and be relatable. So I'm getting off track, but I really wanted to share with you guys why I like to post on Instagram a lot and why I post on TikTok and all the other things. But I want to specifically share with you guys my Instagram plan because this is going to be the plan that I also use for TikTok. So I actually, and I'm going to record my screen real quick. So I actually hired a social media manager for starting this month because I do have a lot on my plate and because I'm able to now reinvest my money into hiring people to help me. It's been such a weight off my back. So she's going to be helping me. She helped me create this content plan, which is awesome. So basically, she came up with content ideas for me. However, there are days in between that I'll be posting on my own with ideas that I have as well. So I'll share with you guys my Airtable that I've set up. But she's using Notion. I know that there's some controversial opinions on like whether Notion should be used or Airtable. It's really whatever you feel the most comfortable on. Try not to do the shiny object syndrome where you're just trying all the platforms. Just pick one and stick with it. And for me, that's Airtable. But I'm showing you this Notion one because this is the Instagram plan for September. So we have tons of awesome video ideas in here. We're going to talk about I'm doing a design branding, so I'm sharing behind the scenes of how I design a brand. And I have noticed that when I show behind the scenes of my process, it brings in more inquiries for me. So if I'm sharing a lot of like education about graphic design, I'm probably going to get more course sales. And if I share more about like the design, I'm probably going to get more inquiries and potential clients. So it's really interesting to see like how different types of content brings in different audiences. And I have noticed that a lot of my education content now does way better. So I just feel this pull to talk about that more. So you'll see some of this content is graphic design tips. We also have some graphic creations I love, YouTubers that are great for motivation. So kind of all over the board. And we're using September as a month to really test some new content ideas out with my new social media manager. So she's going to be tracking the analytics. We're going to be looking at the engagement, the followers, all that information. And we're going to kind of readjust the content plan in October based on that, on the analytics. But this is kind of what it's looking like. So we have a good mix of graphic design tips, website design tips, as well as resources for graphic designers. And those blank days in between are going to be the days that I'm posting just like in-feed posts of designs I've created. Because like I said, I want to make sure I'm still sharing a good amount of my actual graphic design work. And I'm sharing this with you guys because I think if you want to start to experiment with content, it's a good idea to share the behind the scenes of your process, and also sharing some tips. Even if you don't want to get into education, sharing tips about graphic design is going to allow you to show up as an expert. And when you show up as an expert, you're going to probably get more potential clients because they're going to know, like, and trust you more. So you can experiment with it and see how it does. But this is the Instagram plan. So like I said, I post on Instagram 5 times a week. That works the best for me. It's doable for me, especially now that I have a social media manager. And then I'm going to try and pull all this content, repurpose it onto TikTok 3 times a week. So that's the plan for Instagram and TikTok. And if you want to see a little behind the scenes of how I come up with Instagram topic ideas, I am sharing a lot of that in the Patreon community. So go check that out. You can join in either of the membership tiers and you'll get access to the collection where I share all my social media tips. And I did go over like how I look at the analytics and how I judge and see what content performs the best. So if you want to look more into that, definitely join the Patreon community. I will link that right down below. Super affordable to join, and I'd love to get to know you guys more. Okay, so this is my Airtable. Airtable is where I plan all of my YouTube and podcasting content. And when it comes to YouTube and podcast content, I come up with these ideas based on the videos that have done well for me in the past, and also based on the questions I get from my existing subscribers. So if you are brand new into doing YouTube and you're not really sure like where to begin, I would just suggest making videos on things you want to talk about, because that's the only way you're going to stay consistent with it, is if you enjoy what you're talking about. So I would make a bunch of videos, see what's performing the best, see what kind of comments you're getting, and those questions are going to start rolling in, and those questions are what will help you make content after content after content. So I always recommend just starting, and that's what I did. I remember when I started, I wasn't even posting about design. I was posting about manifestation and positivity and house cleaning vlogs and just super random stuff, but I did it out of passion. I just wanted to share and edit videos and just connect with people. And then it was when I started to show those vlogs of me, you know, building my business and designing and working, was when those questions started to come in. And that's when I started to see a gap in a space for me to start posting more about graphic design. So you have to just begin to get some more ideas and those content ideas flowing. So this is what my September looks like. We're already on September 5th, which is today. So tomorrow is some podcast topic ideas that I have. I was going to make a podcast episode on what went right and what went wrong in my community launch. So I already wrote these out. I wrote these out 2 months ago because these ideas just come to me, and this is where I put them down when the ideas pop in my head. But I do change them sometimes when that time comes up, and I do try and plan ahead and film these ahead of time, but that did not happen because I was on a trip recently. You know, life got in the way. We're planning our wedding now. It's been a lot. So I have not filmed these ahead of time, but I'm not stressing about it because I can dedicate a day or 2 days to film everything for the month, and I'll be good. So I wrote out these ideas, what went wrong, what went right and wrong in my launch. I can either do that one or a secret to a $10,000 month. And I have noticed, and this is something that I'm a little bit unsure of, that I've noticed when you have a $sign in the title of a video, it does 10 times as better as videos that don't have anything to do with like money signs or anything. So it's kind of like a interesting psychology thing. So I've been kind of experimenting with that and seeing like why that happens, what performs well, whether it's the thumbnail or having that dollar sign. And I have noticed it's the dollar sign. So I'm kind of, piggybacking off of that and making content around how that's possible. I'm definitely not clickbaiting because it is the truth, but it does work really well. Okay, so those are the podcast episode ideas. I sometimes like to have 2 options because I really base it off what I'm feeling the most excited to talk about, because I don't want to film something that I'm just not pumped about, because I think that comes through the video. And you just want to make sure that you're talking about something that you're actually interested in talking about. So those are the 2 podcast ideas. So you'll notice that on the right-hand side here, I have the podcast because I post a new podcast episode every other Friday. And occasionally I'll just like drag these down and move it if I feel more inspired to talk about this week or that this week. So I can drag them around and move it based on how I'm feeling. So it's also very important to film ahead, and I'm trying to remind myself of this because if you get sick or if something happens in life, you'll have your content ready to go and you can stay consistent without the excuses of like life getting in the way. So I'm really going to try and dedicate at least 2 days next week to film all the content that you're going to see on this. So right now I'm filming this one, which is how I plan my week as a business owner. And then we have down here, I'm designing and creating my wedding invites. We're doing a micro wedding, but I thought it'd be fun to take you guys with me as I design and create the mood board for it. So I have that for that week, and I actually am going to be filming part of that today and tomorrow. So because my mom's in town, and we're gonna do the wax seal, and I'm gonna vlog all that, so that's easy to do. I already vlogged all of Zion, so I'm gonna make my Zion vlog. I try to make it easy for me to, instead of like creating content, I'm documenting. So I'm documenting parts of my life, and it just makes it so much easier to stay consistent when you're documenting over creating. So I always try to remind myself of that. And then we have another vlog, and I also have a podcast episode on how to grow on YouTube, because I've noticed that is something that kind of sets me apart from other designers, is that I'm actually on YouTube, and I want to talk more about that. So we have that coming up. I also have this content idea down here on how I designed a brand from scratch. I love to take you guys with me through the full process, and that's the beauty of long form videos, is to take you from A to Z of like everything. So that'll be fun. And I also, you can see on these 2 weeks, I have this one has 3 posts for YouTube, which is a lot, but I'm kind of experimenting with starting to do more posts during the week since I have my social media manager now. So we're going to try that out for those 2 weeks and see how it feels. And also because I have collaborations coming up, it just makes it easier to post twice a week, so I can have a video that's not sponsored or anything, and then a video that maybe is, so that it doesn't feel like every single video is sponsored. So I'm kind of having to think about that now that those collaborations are coming through. So that's why you'll see on some of these in parentheses, I have the collaboration in there, just so I remember. But we'll see. I think I'm going to try and continue with that. So I'll have to come up with a content idea here, which for that, I will most likely go and look at all my comments on my YouTube videos and see what you guys are asking about and just make a video on that. And then for the last week, or actually this is October already, I will be doing more vlogs and potentially having my copywriter on my podcast to talk about copywriting. So I'm actually going to write in here my copywriter's name so I can reach out to her today to make sure she's free sometime probably in these 2 weeks, so that we can film ahead of time so I can edit and have time to do all that. So this is my YouTube plan. I like to have it on Airtable. You can already see I have October pretty much planned out, which is so helpful, you guys. Like, knowing that I have ideas in here clears my mind, makes me feel so good. So that's awesome. I forgot I already did this. That's why I recommend having something like this. I even have Airtable on my phone. So if I think of an idea, I just come in here and drop it in, and I can rearrange it based on what I want to talk about on what week. So that's my YouTube plan for September. My content plan for September, this is the Curated Collective Instagram, which my sister has been helping me with. So she has access to this Airtable, this grid, and she's able to actually pull the media files and post for me. So that's also been really helpful. As you guys can probably see, a lot of things have changed. I have a lot more outsourcing items, which has been so amazing that I'm able to do that. And it's just really exciting because I'll be able to focus on other parts of my business to really grow. But this is what my social media Instagram plan looks for Curated Collective. Love Airtable because I also can go down here to the post aesthetic, and if I have thumbnails in there I can see like how it looks visually, so that's really helpful. If you guys want me to make a Airtable video, I'm happy to do that. Just let me know if you want to see more about that. For the podcast planning, I just jump in here and add all my podcast ideas. So if I ever am in a lull and I'm like, what the heck do I talk about? I can always reference this and pull a topic and just talk about it. So I not only have the actual plan, I have an idea list, and I have, you know, the aesthetic grid, so I can just cross-check everything. Super helpful. Okay, so the next thing I wanted to talk with you guys about the plan for the month is clients, because that's like basically the bread and butter of my business. It's been the bread and butter of my business to do branding and website design projects for clients. But as you guys are probably seeing in my business, I'm kind of transitioning into more of the community education, YouTube. I really want to become a full-time content creator, so that's the ultimate goal. But to do that, I really have had to slow down on clients so that I can be consistent on all the platforms, film, and actually deliver amazing content. And it's hard. It is kind of difficult to do that when I have clients on my plate too. But I'm still taking some clients right now. It just depends on the project and if I want to take it on. But I'm still getting inquiries and still, you know, potentially working with clients. So it's definitely not something that I've completely stopped doing right now. So I want to talk with you guys about how many clients I take per month. So as you guys might know, I do a website in a week service, and I also do branding. I've tried to do branding in a week, but it never really works. I don't know why. For some reason, website in a week is way more doable than a branding in a week. I think because branding takes a lot of decision making and a lot of revisions if we want to work on like perfecting little things, and every client's so different when it comes to branding. So my branding process typically takes around 3 to 4 weeks. So I have to block out 3 to 4 weeks of working on a client's project, and I get the question, how many clients do you take per month? I usually take 2 per month. 2 when it was a really, really busy season for me and when I was really pushing to get more clients. It was about 3 to 4 a month, which was absolutely crazy and honestly very overwhelming, and I'd reach burnout phases a lot. So now having even just 1 to 2 a month is so perfect for me. And because I've increased my pricing, I'm able to do that and still feel really comfortable financially. So that's the ultimate goal, is 1 to 2 per month. So I did have a client call with an awesome client. I'm so excited to work with her, and we are hoping to start on September 23rd. So I thought I would show you guys how I block this out on my calendar. Let me share my screen again. Okay, so as you can see, this is my calendar. I have quite a bit of openings actually for September. So that is exactly why I was able to take her on. So I have quite a bit of openings in September, which is why I was able to take this new client on. And our estimated start date for that, I'm still waiting on the deposit from her. So this is just, I'm gonna block it out because we have talked about her really wanting to move forward, and that is a start date of September 23rd. So I'm gonna put Addie start date, and then I also color coded my calendar so that I can select clients. If it's a self-care thing, I can select that, so it's really color coded and organized for me. So start date September 23rd, and then the end date would be 4 weeks from then. So that'd be 1, 2, I think it was like October 14th that we said. And I always leave myself as free, because if I block it out as busy, then my scheduler will not allow calls to be booked. But I'm still gonna allow calls to be booked and everything. Like, just because I have a client project doesn't mean I'm completely out of commission. Like, I can still talk to people. So I'm gonna say free, and then I think all day is totally fine. So we can hit save. And actually, this is not usually how I do it. I usually do this through DUBSADO. So I'll put a little screenshot here, but I usually will do this through DUBSADO. When you select the start date in DUBSADO, it will connect it to my Google Calendar and block that time out. So that's usually how I do it, but I'm just doing this for the purpose of showing you like how many clients per month. I also was supposed to have a client next week, but she has rescheduled, and I'm not sure if we're going to do her website anymore. So that's something I have to talk with her about and kind of figure out and deal with. So that's something I'm going to take care of today. But she did let me know that like she's just kind of going through some things. We're not sure if we're going to do the website or not, but typically this would be the only 2 clients I have this month. And it actually kind of works out perfectly because if my client doesn't do a design with me next week, then I can spend this time getting ready for the summit that I'm going to be a speaker at on September 12th. So I have a lot going on. And I also have like my dentist appointment, my eye doctor appointment, hair appointment, the self-care things, because I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I love to spend my money on self-care items, and I'm not afraid to block that out and leave some time for myself to do that. Okay, besides a new client starting, I also have some previous clients that have reached out to me for some help. And I also want to add into my calendar here some days to do my bookkeeping, financial checking, and project management, because we all know that's a big part of business ownership. So I'm going to put in here my previous clients' work that I need to work on, and I'm going to color code it as clients, design, and then I usually will select a time block it into my day. That way I actually remember to do it, because if I just add this in for the day without a time, it could easily just get, forgotten. So I'm going to select, we're going to do it tomorrow. So I'm going to drag this over to tomorrow. I'm trying on some wedding dresses tomorrow and Saturday, so I have that in there. And DUBSADO will automatically put these in for when people select their ideal end date. I need to figure out how to change that because it's kind of annoying. But that is some tasks I have with existing clients. And then I'm going to also put, let's see, my quarterly taxes are due. So I think on September 13th is when I should do a bookkeeping day. So I'm going to say bookkeeping, and then we'll do it in the morning, on Friday morning. And I'm going to just use it as my Megan Weeks label, and we'll save that. And then I usually have like social events happening, so I'll usually put those in. I sometimes will just put those in as self-care because it is a form of self-care to connect with friends and stuff. So I'll put those in later. And then what else do I have? I think that's mostly everything. But the one thing I am missing is just adding in like the days I'm going to film. So I know I just shared with you guys that next week I'm going to dedicate a couple days to film YouTube content. So I think I'm going to block out Wednesday, filming day, and then I'm going to highlight it as YouTube. And we are going to start that at like 11 and end at like 3. That'll be a good amount of time. So filming day. So this is how I like organize my calendar and block things out and make sure I stay on track. I'll probably do another filming day on this week too, just since I don't have clients this week. Okay, so a very important thing that I usually put into my calendar is the personal things, not just related to things that are like self-care, but the things that are non-negotiables for me. And that is the gym, working out, moving my body. I just got the Ultra Human ring actually, and I'm so excited to start putting that to use and, tracking my steps and just making sure that I'm moving my body. So I'm going to actually put that into my calendar as well. I'm just going to select, I usually do Pilates every Monday morning at like 8 a.m. And I really, really want to get up early, at least for the next few weeks, to kind of get ahead. Since we did go on vacation, I just need to kind of get ahead. So Pilates Monday morning, gym will be Tuesday morning. I have a call Tuesday morning, so I'll probably do gym at lunchtime at like 11 to 12, gym. And then we'll do gym on the filming day, so I feel good and alive. And then when I say gym, I do go to the gym and lift. I like to lift weights. I know that it's so good for your body, and I just know I always feel so good afterwards. So we're gonna put that in, and then we'll also do gym on the 12th in the morning. Sometimes I'll leave Thursday as a rest day. I'm gonna leave that as a rest day actually, since it's the Q&A and it's just a big day. And then Friday I do Pilates as well. So I try to go either once or twice a week, and I love the instructors on Mondays and Fridays. So the instructor makes or breaks the class in my opinion. So yeah, we have Pilates, and I always make sure it's busy. That way my scheduler knows not to allow calls to come through. So we're gonna select that and gym, save. Okay, so the goals for September are to film all my YouTube content by September 13th. And when I say all, it's all the sit down content, all the collaboration content by September 13th. The next goal is to film 3 podcast episodes by September 20th. And then my other goal is to work out 5 times a week. And my ultimate goal that I'm going to write down here is to get at least 8,000 steps a day. I know 10,000 steps a day is the thing, but it's sometimes hard when you work from home and you're kind of at your desk all day. So I'm going to start with 8,000 steps a day, and then in October we'll bump that up to like 10,000. So those are my goals for September, and I really want to show you guys how I plan the month out, how I stay on track, and how I do all this to make sure that I'm getting things done and staying consistent. But like I said, if you want to see more of like the social media tips, how I actually come up with content, be sure to join my Patreon community where I share all of that. I always have the link down below, and I'd love to get to know you guys. But I hope you enjoyed this September plan with me, and I hope it motivated you to go plan. But if you liked this video, I'd love it so much if you gave it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel for more, and I will see you in the next one.